Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is chapter 2 with Bud Brown. You're watching Goldfinger in the Goldfinger Minute with
Hey,
Bud.
hey, everybody.
Bud's an interesting and very nice person. He's very
Oh,
easy to talk to. I really enjoy this conversation.
thank you.
I hope
Appreciate that.
everybody else is too. You have a lot of
Yeah, we're having a
knowledge.
good time. So,
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
So, what have you found different since you were gone for 2 years? What else has it grown? Has Dumaguete grown?
Dumaguete has really grown a lot. I don't know if you could say warned about it, but I was told that it's going to be, there's a lot more shops, especially on the boulevard.
Uh-huh.
I think they call it North,
North Point.
North Point.
It's
Yeah,
grown a
it's
lot.
grown a lot.
In the 2 years I've been here,
Yeah,
they now have some wonderful restaurants and,
yes,
nightclubs and, shopping centers there
yes.
and a mall.
Yeah, what was it called?
Don't
Wonders or
Wonders
something like
yeah,
that.
I don't know the
I
one
went
mall.
down there and I drove by it and looked at it
Like,
as I
where did
drove
this come
by.
from?
Yeah, yeah. I think they might have been working on it because it's been 2 years, but they may have been
They were
working on
working on
that.
it. It
Yeah.
was right in front of the marina. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
And of course,
Space Shuttle Marina Space Shuttle. It's a high-rise apartment. It blocked all the views
yes,
of all those
yes.
they all had were selling for with a view of the ocean, and it built it right in front and blocked the views of
Mm.
all the apartments because it's 3 story I think it's 3 stories high. At least it's 3 tall stories high, maybe
Yeah.
4. So, yeah.
I did stop. Now that I'm thinking about it, I stopped there in front of Wonders. I parked there, and when the guards come out, the guards are so nice. I like to shuck and jive with them,
Uh-huh.
and especially with the
Yeah,
thing
you
is
can
with
speak their language, that's a big plus.
yeah, Tagalog, they can speak Tagalog, but their first language is Bisaya,
Mhm.
and I tell them, hey, I only know some Tagalog, but I know a little bit of Bisaya. Oh, no,
They
any
really
little
open
thing.
up here
They do.
if you speak the language.
They
They
do.
appreciate
They
that.
really do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So, a place I just learned a couple days ago was this. I did uh, a video on it called Buglas
Oh, yeah, Buga
Isla.
Isla.
Yeah,
Yeah,
island. Yeah.
very good
So
restaurant.
you've been there?
Excellent. I have, and
Oh,
it's excellent. It's very
yeah.
excellent, and there's quite a bit of dishes there that I yes, I have. I
Well, yeah. Just this weekend I
yeah.
went there,
Oh, okay.
and I really didn't do it justice with my video. I'm the worst reviewer of. I'm not actually. I'm not a hotel reviewer or anything like that. Restaurant
You have
reviewer.
a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube
Why
channel.
don't you
Yeah.
tell us what your YouTube channel is, and I'll put it
Okay.
in the description as well.
Oh, okay. I came up with a real fancy name. It's called Bud Brown.
Yes.
Took me a
Well,
long time to
give it to the point. Okay. And is it just Bud Brown?
yeah, just Bud
Just
Brown.
Bud Brown. Well, that's
Yeah.
an easy one. Okay.
And if you Google, Mr. Google knows me. So if you Google Bud Brown Philippines, that he'll bring up a bunch
I
of
will pull it up. I'll subscribe
yeah,
and
okay.
I will get the link and add it to the description if anybody
Okay.
needs it, if they want it.
Okay, thank you.
So, yes,
Appreciate
please
that.
like, subscribe, and share.
That's right.
Bud Brown.
And on these, I had kind of mentioned a little bit about these two movies that were made uh, about me and my wife
Right.
Gloria. And to see those movies, the only thing it's made for a Filipino audience, so there's a lot of Filipino language
It's
there.
Filipino. Okay.
But since I'm in it, there was a and this is interesting when they first called and said, "This is GMA," because I didn't know. Okay, we'd like to do a story about your life, and you and your wife, Gloria. And I'm thinking, okay. So they asked questions. How did your parents, what did you think about it? And how did you meet? Blah, blah, blah. And so I thought that was it. And then they called back a week later. They said, uh, "We're going. I'm going to read you the script, and you tell me if it's accurate." I'm thinking,
Okay.
script?
The script.
What script? And then the neighbor said, "They're going to do a movie." I said, "I'm going to be in a movie?" Oh, I said, "No, not you. Somebody else will
Is going to
play
play
you."
you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so I said, "Okay, they're going to have an older Bud Brown and a younger. For the younger, I want Brad Pitt. And for the older, I want 007. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, yeah.
That's what I
Was
want.
the original.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it turned out uh, as what happens a lot in Philippine movies, if they want a foreigner or Westerner, they'll have what they call a mestizo, a uh,
Okay,
mixed,
a mixed.
yeah, from a Western
That speaks
dad.
perfect Filipino, no doubt. Yeah.
Exactly. And this fella,
In Tagalog or in Visayan?
Tagalog,
Tagalog.
yeah,
Okay.
Tagalog, because it's a nationwide. That's why if it's for a nationwide audience, they'll use
Okay.
Tagalog. Yeah. Uh, but this fella, and of course my mind just went blank on the actor's name, but his dad was German
Oh,
and his mom was Filipino,
okay.
and he was born in L.A.
Well,
So he speaks perfect American
English.
English,
Yes, he does.
and
Yeah.
he looks like an Americano.
Yeah, because he
So he was the perfect guy to play it. And the girl, oh, I have to warn you, when you see this movie, you better have a Kleenex right next to you because
really.
oh, that poor
Now, what
girl.
is the name of the movie?
The movie is called My Heart. Let me see. My Heart Belongs to You. That's the.
And how do we find it? Is it on YouTube?
I'll tell you how to find it.
Okay, good.
Google search Bud and Gloria Brown love story.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it. So if you're curious about it, Bud and Gloria Brown love story,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you'll see the movie.
If I say be prepared, because she had a rough life. She had, and still has
I think
this.
all Filipinos have a rough life, but yeah,
You're right. You're
yeah.
right.
I haven't seen too many that had the easy life.
This was a real Cinderella story,
Okay.
basically. And she had and has dyslexia. And 50 years ago, dyslexia, they don't know what, you know. And so she's struggling to read to read these letters, and
Right.
they're mixed up in her mind. And oh, you're lazy, you're stupid, you're dumb, you just don't want to learn. What's the matter? Oh, everybody was against her. Oh, it was
That's very
horrible.
common. It's a shame.
Very bullied,
We-
So
I'm sorry, I'm turning the air conditioning down to quiet and low. It's starting to freeze us out here. I don't know if you were getting cold, but I was getting a little cold. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Uh,
Al also, if you look up, that Bud and Gloria Brown love story, you'll find it there. You'll find it on Google too,
yeah,
and then but
cool.
anyway, the audience
I'm gonna
knows
look
that.
it up. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
it.
But,
And I can't guarantee I'll watch it. How long is the movie?
it's about an hour.
That's not too bad. I have an hour. I'm supposed to be retired. Haha.
I know what
Yeah,
you
right.
mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
but after that, they flew us to Manila, and they had it
Oh,
set. It was a house, but in a neighborhood, and you go inside the house, but it's actually a television setup. They had the rails along so
oh,
the
so they gotta
cameras could
slide it.
follow,
Oh,
had the
interesting.
lighting, and Gloria, bless her heart, she's sitting there, of course, had the makeup and all this stuff.
Wait, so you were in the movie?
Well, they had interviewed us, and then they interspersed
Okay.
I should say they started with the
S-
movie, and they
They
interspersed
introduced
it
you.
with us being
Okay, so
interviewed.
with the so you're
Yeah,
in the movie. You're in it,
yeah,
real life.
yeah.
You got credit for it at the end, I'm sure. And
Well, kind of like they'll have a movie, they'll say this is based on a true story, and then they'll have the actors, and the end of the movie, they'll show pictures of the real
now this is the
people.
financial part of me. I'm sorry. Did
Yeah,
they pay you?
we had two movies. One paid us. It was I think pesos was well, it ended up to be about $400. What is
Okay.
it, eighty
Not a
thousand or
fortune, but
so?
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But at least they paid you. They paid for your flights.
Pay for the flight,
Okay,
pay
paid
for
for
a hotel.
hotel and food.
Yeah, and food. We went
Okay,
to
well
a
that's
nice
good. Then
restaurant.
that
It
was
was
really
nice.
nice. That's
Yeah,
nice. It's
it
like a
was
nice
nice.
little paid vacation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And of course, when we come back to Dumaguete, oh, Ate Kuya, I saw you on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
TV.
yeah,
And
yeah. You're
but
famous. It made you famous.
Gloria says, that was my sister. That
Yeah,
wasn't me.
she doesn't want to be famous.
She didn't.
Filipinos do not want to be famous. I'm having a hard time getting Carolyn to do a podcast. I
Oh.
believe tonight might be the first time. We're going to go live tonight. I go live Mondays and Fridays. So we're
Oh,
going to go live tonight. I have a busy day.
yeah.
So I'm supposed to run to the bank and do other things. But 7:30, 7:30, I think I'm going to wrangle Carolyn to come in, and we're going to talk about my hospital stay, which I'm not going to go into it now. But I spent a couple days in the hospital last week, so
This week.
got out on Saturday.
Oh,
Or was it
yikes.
Sunday? Yeah, it wasn't good. But we'll talk about it on live. And anyway, so but Carol, I wanted Carolyn. I don't want to introduce her to YouTube and get her because she's
Yeah.
really smart. She's a very beautiful person and she's very sweet, like most Filipinos. And she's sharp as a whip. I mean, it's love my. We've been together for over 2 years, 26 or 27 months. I better figure that out before she comes live. But I can't say 26 or 27. I'm going to get in trouble. I better figure out which one that is. I gotta make, yeah, I have the anniversary date on my phone and it repeats, but every month I have to say which month it is, you know. Otherwise, oh my God, am I gonna hear it? So yeah, you know that it's just like being married. I mean, we're engaged, but we're not married. But it's like being married. Anyway,
Right.
she's awesome.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
great,
not.
man.
She helped me so much through the hospital stay. She stayed there overnight,
Yeah.
got no sleep. It was horrible. But
That may be a topic for a video, knowing that one, you have to pay before you leave, and two, always has to be somebody there to watch you.
yes, you do. Yeah,
So that
yeah.
may be something
It's
you
a little
want to.
different. Yeah, they expect you to have somebody there. Okay. In the US, they'll say visiting hours this or this, and that's it. Nobody can stay with you in the US if you're in the hospital. Here, they want to know who will be staying with you.
Yeah.
They want someone to stay with you.
If you don't have someone, maybe you notice they'll pay for something.
You can hire somebody. Yeah, you could tell them you can hire somebody.
They'll hire it for you, and
And
you have to pay.
one of the things which I'm going to talk about, which is kind of funny, it's again we're talking about me, but
Okay.
they asked me if I wanted a private room or am I going to go into I'm trying to remember the name of it. Uh, I forgot the name of it. They didn't
Yeah.
call it person room. It's a shared room. Okay, I can't remember the name. I'll think of it later.
Yeah.
I think it's on my notes. But anyway, so my insurance only covers a shared room. Okay.
Okay.
So when I open the door, I see another bed and I see an empty bed and I see the bathroom between us. Okay, yeah, 2 beds, not a big deal. I'm not gonna do it because they kept asking me, "Don't you want private?" I go, "No, I don't need private room. Just fine." Well, then on the other, there's a big door because they bring
Yeah.
gurneys in there, they bring wheelchairs, and so it's a really huge wide door. So when they close the door and I turn around, there's 4 more beds.
Oh.
And all of them are full. And so you have 6 people, all men. It was all men. It's a ward.
Oh.
They call it a ward. Do you want to be in the ward or do you want to be in a private room?
Oh.
Okay. And everybody told me afterwards, you should have picked private. No kidding. Okay. Because they charge extra for private. You have to pay for it out of
Sure.
pocket if you don't have the insurance to cover that. It wasn't a lot, $50 a night, but the Filipinos talk a lot. They're noisy even in a hospital.
Yeah.
They all have their phones going.
Yeah.
Every Filipino man had 2 women. It might have been a granddaughter and the wife. Okay, but there was another 10 people in the room besides the 5 people that were hospitalized besides Carolyn and myself. So there's right off the bat we have 15 excuse me, 15 people in the room right off the bat, plus us, and it's noisy.
Yeah.
They don't turn the lights out.
Yeah.
The lights are on 24/7. Okay. They're all using one bathroom. That bathroom was disgusting by the morning. Thank God they cleaned it. You wouldn't want to take a shower in there. You'd have to wear flip flops. I mean, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so it was an eye opener. There's
Yeah.
always something different here you don't expect. Okay. And in the US, usually it's 2 people to a room, not 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Similar in Thailand. Thailand was 8. I had a hospitalized in Thailand, 8 people to a room,
Oh, wow.
and they all share a bathroom. Actually, the whole floor shared a bathroom. So there was like,
Floor shared one
yeah,
bathroom?
40 men, 40, 50 men shared one bathroom. Okay. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was disgusting, but we won't go there. All right. So,
Yeah.
so the hospitals here are something you're not going to find the hospital care. I'm sure the hospital care in the U.S. was a lot better than the hospital care here.
Yeah. She, there was one time for about a week, she was waking up, of course, we were in California, waking up in the middle of the night. What's the
Oh,
matter? I can't breathe.
oh,
You can't breathe? Oh, man. Goldfinger, that was the most stressful time. And finally, after a couple days, I thought well, we didn't know what to think.
Panic attack or
We thought maybe a panic attack, and we bought these, canned oxygen. I don't know, you
okay.
know, and nothing helped. Finally, we took her to the hospital. She had, fluid in her
Look at this.
lungs.
She was sick. She
Yeah,
needed to be
because
on
the heart was
antibiotics.
not pumping right and this,
Yeah.
but the worst thing, and maybe others in your audience, have had this experience, but what they call as, hospital psychosis. It was especially for older people. She started seeing things. "Honey, there's a snake in the wall." I go, "What?"
Oh,
"Yeah,
is that
look."
from the medication or
They said, if an older person who hasn't been in the hospital before or just I don't know what it was, but I'm telling I started crashing. This is not my wife. I thought,
oh,
man,
that's
she's
not
lost her
good.
mind. She
Yeah,
was
you're
seeing,
worried about yeah, no,
oh,
I
it
would be
was
worried too.
horrible. She didn't sleep. She pulled stuff out, these IV, she pulled it out. Honey, don't do
They
that.
pulled it out.
It was on her
Wrist,
hand,
yeah.
on the back of her hand. It wasn't plugged in, fortunately, to the IV, but it was that
The taped on, yeah.
taped on it.
Yeah.
She pulled it off. I don't like this. I thought, oh no, she's lost her mind.
Oh,
And
thank
she had
God
the
she was
heart
okay.
monitor and she was pulling it
So
off.
they just said that's just a natural.
They said that happens. I said to myself, now you tell me. Now you tell me. Why didn't you warn me before?
Well, maybe the cockroaches I saw in the hospital were just a figment of my imagination now, because I saw 3 of them.
Not.
They probably weren't there now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't there.
Yeah.
Maybe I just got that age
Yeah.
too, you know?
Oh man. But
What age is Gloria?
she's same as me, 74.
Oh, good for her.
Or a little under. Yeah.
Both are
Actually,
troopers.
there's 2 weeks in the year that we're the same age. Her birthday brings her up to my age, and then 2 weeks later, my birthday, and then I'm a year ahead of her. So,
That's cute. All right.
yeah.
So you
So
guys you guys are like
we grew up
twins.
together.
Yes,
You
you
know, can you imagine 21 and 22, and now we're in our
I was married for
70s?
28 years and I lost
Yeah,
my wife and when I
I'm
lost my
so
wife
sorry to hear
it was
that.
a it's like I lost half of me.
Yeah,
Is like half of
we
me.
may have to talk off the record about that and how,
It's very
because there's going to
difficult.
be a time. Well,
It happens. It happens to all of us. We don't all
yeah,
my mother had a stroke and for a year she was pretty much in a vegetable state on a bed. And my dad, they'd been married, like I said, 50, 51
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah,
And he stayed by her side.
yeah,
Okay. He fed her, he cleaned her, he took care of her for a year.
yeah,
When she finally passed on,
yeah,
okay, he decided he didn't want to live.
yeah,
And within 2 weeks,
yeah,
in 2 weeks, he died. And I flew out to go see him, and I missed him by just an hour of seeing him, trying to talk him, to be in better health. I didn't realize he was in that state.
yeah,
He didn't contact me. He was saying everything's fine, but it wasn't. He just chose. And so when I asked the doctor what was wrong, I don't understand. What did he have? He had nothing. He had a broken heart. He chose to die.
yeah.
So I lost both my parents within 2 weeks.
I need to move away from that before I
Yeah.
start
No,
choking.
don't choke it up. But hopefully long life
Mm.
for both of you. Hopefully long life for
Yeah.
both of you.
Well, what we decided there in Campo, California, we had all the human necessities. We
Mhm.
had food, we had water, we had clothing, we had shelter,
Yeah.
but we were just existing. And
You
that's
weren't
not the
doing
life.
anything.
We were not living here. And so we have to make a big, big choice. Come here. Maybe the health situation is not going to be as
I don't
good
think
or
it
be
is
expensive,
from what my
but
experience
we're
says.
living each and every day.
Yeah.
She's out running around. I
Yeah.
go,
Because what if you're not living, if you're just
why?
comatose in a
Yeah,
place,
come on.
that's
Yeah,
not cool either.
yeah,
That's why I got out of Las Vegas during COVID. They shut me inside my apartment and said I can't leave. It's like that's not living.
that's
That's why I
not.
went to Mexico.
Yeah,
That's really what it is. I did about 6 months of that, and I said, "I'm going to start raving mad.
yeah,
I can't do anything but watch TV." And I'm not a TV person. If you go out in the house right now, there's no TV here. I don't watch TV. I'm not a movie buff. I don't like watching TV at all. It's just a waste of time. I'll watch educational things, but
mhm,
not typical TV. I don't go
right.
to the movie theater. I can't sit still. I can't sit still in the theater. I can't. It's like I feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just me.
One of the reasons that I get into movies, especially in the theater, is uh, it's like I'm experiencing what they're experiencing. I mean, what do you call it? Vicarious
Yeah,
experience, you
yeah.
know. where I'm there
You
and
get
I'm
emotional.
traveling, I'm doing
You get
this
emotional in
and
the movie.
yeah, yeah,
So if it's a
that's
sad movie, you get sad. If it's a happy
yeah,
movie, you get happy.
yeah. And I want you to
That's a
tell
good movie, though. If a good movie could move you like that, that's pretty good.
yeah,
Make sure you move the
and I
mic.
want you to tell me what the end is. Don't tell me what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. Don't ruin it. It's like a football game. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, too bad he dies, you know. Oh,
Don't tell me.
yeah.
And now, so now, what is she doing now? Is she staying home or are you taking her out?
Her?
Yeah,
She, she, we we picked up where we left off.
cool.
And what our normal routine is, we get up early,
Uh-huh.
5:30 or so, and we have coffee and we sit, we chit chat. Well, what's your day going to be? Well, I've got a coffee date today, you know, or whatever. I have an interview. I'm
You
going to
guys
go
at least go out for
someplace.
breakfast sometimes? And
Uh,
she likes
she
to
goes
cook.
to her
She likes to cook,
place,
though. Yeah.
so we get in wherever transportation. Is. We go to a certain. I'll drop her off maybe at McDonald's or a certain intersection. She goes this way, she'll catch a tricycle, and I go that way.
I see.
Couple hours later, well, you ready to go home? Yeah, okay, we meet and we go home. And how was your morning? And that's it, you know. And then I'll try to do a video or something, and she'll,
You got to spend some time together, guys. So you got a
yeah,
dinner or breakfast or lunch, something.
yeah. Well, we have our morning chat, and then we have our afternoon, all from noon till we go to sleep.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Sundays, you got a special day for
no,
Sundays?
I'm not busy.
No, every day's the same. You're
Every day
retired.
is the same.
I
Yeah,
know you lose track of days, huh?
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I forgot. I'll go like, what day is it? I have to look at my phone. What day is it today?
The only thing I'm a little bit nervous, of course, I'm trying to get our budget together because we've been here exactly about a month now. This is the fifth. We arrived on the 6th of last month. So we're trying to, and it's hard to get a budget at this point because we've spent so much money on just
Well, let's
getting
talk about that a
settled.
little bit. So, um, how much money do you recommend that someone have to come over here, assuming it's a couple, okay? We could go single male or a couple. How much money would you recommend that they have to be able to start off here? Because the start off costs are high.
Yeah.
And then how much money do you think they would need to live?
Well, I'm not a good person to ask that question. It's almost like how long is a string, you know?
Yeah.
But I do understand what you're saying.
Well, people are
And,
curious, what
and
does it cost?
when I first thought about going to the Philippines, that's the first thing I looked at budget uh, videos. You know how much they, and so of course me and Gloria are together. We have been. We always will be.
All right.
So we're a couple, and we need certain things that maybe a single person wouldn't need. Uh, and on this particular situation, the house opened up, and like someone asked me the other day, "How did you go about finding a house?" We in this case,
I
we
assume
fell
your
in our
neighbor
lap.
told you about it, right? Your
Yeah,
neighbor
we
that you had before?
communicate with the neighbors and the
And
landlord.
okay, so you had communication with
Yeah,
them.
we had communication with
And they
them.
work with you, I'm sure,
Yeah,
because they've
they've
known you for
known
4
they don't
years.
have to put a deposit, and this is very unusual. We probably need to make
They
a
didn't
point of
require a
that.
deposit.
Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
did not
unusual.
require and they did not require a contract, which is
So
they made
you're
it
month
so
to month, they made it
easy.
very nice.
Uh,
But they're good people, they're
they're good
good
people. They
management, good
know us.
landlords.
That's the
Okay.
thing. But people just coming here need to think that uh,
You're right, it's different because
they're
most
gonna
people need to have a first and maybe a
first they
security
got yeah,
and
first and
sometimes the
last
last in
or
security. Yeah,
deposit
yeah.
plus. But if you think that you're going to come here on say $1,500, which people have thrown out that number, 1,500 a month, you better come with more than 1,500 in your pocket.
A little bit in savings.
Yeah, savings because it's not unusual to rent a house semi-furnished, does not have a refrigerator or stove. I'm saying, what? You don't have a refrigerator? No, it's not unusual.
Now, this place did not the place I rented did
Your
not
place
have
did. The one
anything.
I had to
It
have
had a
then.
bed frame, maybe 2, but 1 was unusable. Had 1 bed frame. Everything had to be redone.
Yeah,
Everything but the floor
yeah,
had to be redone. We did plumbing, electrical, you name it. It was very expensive, but I wasn't brand new here, so I knew what I was getting into.
yeah. Um, how did well? I'm asking you now.
You can go ahead. You can
How did
interview
you
me.
find this place?
Through a realtor. I'm sorry.
So,
Through a realtor. Oh, that's the chair.
so that's a point then, a realtor.
I use a realtor, but honestly, realtors are iffy. Some realtors are really start off great, and then they get too busy and they're only interested in sales, not rentals. And so when you call them, they'll send somebody off because they'll get a commission
Yeah,
from the other person they're sending it to because they're so well known.
yeah.
Without saying any names, some of them have gotten too big and they're not good. And I've heard good and bad things about the same realtor that I use for here. So without giving any names, I've heard some bad stories about her. Now, luckily, we looked at several places before we got in here.
Oh,
So I know I was in an apartment for oof, a year and a half, at least a year and a half in an apartment. And management there was horrible. Okay. It was just horrible management and not, it was a nice place, but the management was the problem. Okay.
oh,
And they didn't want to renew leases. They wanted to go month to month. You never knew one month, the next month, what
yeah,
the price is going to be. They didn't take care of the grounds. And it was a problem. Okay.
yeah.
So we knew we had to leave the apartment. And a lot of people had already started leaving because of problems with, they had a pool and they didn't take care of it. So I was paying to take care of the pool. I mean, I'm paying for the pool man, the chemicals, the repairs. Yeah. Because
Oh,
I like swimming. So I'm paying for
sure,
it all out of
sure.
pocket.
Yeah.
But that, I look at Carolina, I think it's time to move. It's time to find something else. We're at a point now where we can afford to get something a little bit more money.
Mm,
So we looked at multiple places. However, some places had really steep driveway. I mean, really steep, and or had no room to easy rider rentals. They had
oh,
no room for
you already had
bikes.
that concept in your
Yeah,
mind?
we already started that.
Oh,
So I didn't think we'd end up with 20 bikes and probably gonna end up with 40 in a year. Okay. And I'm gonna limit it at 40 bike rentals.
I mean it.
That's my limit. Okay, 40, because I could barely handle the 20. But the bottom line is I knew that we needed space in front. And a couple places had very little. Okay. And then, or they were hard to find.
Yeah.
And I needed a place that's easy to find off of a main boulevard. Okay. Uh, and then I wanted a nice house and I needed a nice landlord. So it was a lot of things. So luckily we ran into the landlord here and Michelle was awesome. She was just really sweet, nice. You could
How did
tell,
you run into?
through a realtor.
Okay.
The realtor took us around and, like I said, the first three places weren't going to work.
Yeah.
We almost pulled the trigger on a place out in Cebulan, but it was too far out of, and there
Mm,
was a really nice place
yeah.
actually right in, North Point,
Yeah. Oh.
right next to the Henrys. On the
Ooh.
main street,
Wow.
on the main
Nice.
street,
Yeah. Nice.
but it was an older place and it needed a lot of work,
Oh.
but we just could not come to terms. The owner wanted a portion of our business.
Oh,
He says,
now.
"Oh, if you're using it for a business, then I want double the rent and a percentage." I'm going, "That's not gonna happen, dude. You're not building it up. You don't have any and
Yeah.
I'm just renting the house." And I was offering to fix the place up, add air conditioners, replace the windows, paint, clean up the yard, and everything else. And that didn't matter to him. He didn't care how much money I was going to spend on it. And he wanted first class security. And he
Yeah.
doubled, once he found out we're going to do easy rider rentals, doubled his rent.
Really.
Because I had to have it in the contract that we're allowed to run a business there. And well, if you're running a business there, then I want twice the price. Okay, well, that's not going to happen. So it was too bad because it was a great location. It's still empty.
Yeah.
It's going to stay. It was empty for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's because of him. He's
Yeah.
very difficult. And the place,
Yeah.
it's got cobwebs. It's dirty. It needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of work. Okay. A lot of cleaning work. It needed full furnishings and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's going to have that place for a long time,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because that's just him. He's older. He didn't care. He was actually very nice. The gentleman.
Filipino?
Yeah. Philippine. He was very nice, but the daughter took it over
Oh.
in one halfway through negotiation. The daughter took it over and she was not the same.
Yeah.
And she saw dollar signs, so I ain't gonna so luckily we found in this place. However, uh, I wanted a long-term lease. He wasn't willing to do a long-term lease. I don't wanna keep moving. We have a
No.
business. I wanna stay
Yeah.
long-term. So I
Yeah.
there was a lot of things I needed, and here the lady was very open and to what I needed,
Accommodating.
accommodating. She was very nice. Again, she didn't want to keep. She wanted to take all her furniture with her. She was moving to another island. She wanted to take everything with her. But I figured, okay, well, maybe that's just for the best of it because and some of it, I don't know if I want somebody's old mattress or old
Yeah.
furniture, maybe,
Yeah.
some of the things that was not my style. It was very goth looking. It was very strange. It was just like they have a. I'll show you a table outside that they left, and it's
Okay.
like, that's not going to work inside. That was like too big of a table for a small room. Kitchen table was huge, and they have big mirrors, and I don't like big mirrors. Okay, in the bedrooms, I mean, floor to ceiling mirrors. And I'm going, you want to take that? That's fine. Go ahead and take the mirrors. Like they want to take the mirrors. Okay, fine. And bathroom mirrors. Okay, that's fine because they were all
Yeah.
rusty and corroded.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do with them, but okay, take it away. So it cost me a lot of money to come in here. However, now that it's done,
Yeah.
it's very
All's well
comfortable.
that
It's
ends
just
well.
what we wanted. So
It's nice.
I'm pretty happy with it. But
Yeah.
um, but it was, and then I got a 15-year lease, which was the best part.
Wow. Unheard of.
That is unheard of. We got a 15-year lease, and uh, and she's very nice. We did give them first, last, and security, so it did cost a lot of money. I'm going to do something with Paul. We're going to go into detail and walk around the place because took 3 months for me to fix the place up. We spent a lot of money. We
Yeah.
spent
Yeah.
on furniture, and this podcast room, the studio, and the place, 1,000,000 pesos.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. We spent 1,000,000 pesos on space, maybe a little over. But it's great for the next.
Oh
I don't.
yeah.
It'll outlive me. I won't live that long. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna live that long.
Yeah, usually about 5 years is the longest I've heard of anybody, leasing
Yeah,
a
I got
landlord. So man,
15
15
years.
years. That's great.
That's pretty good. And
That's
so
really good.
eventually it's gonna be cheap. And if something happens to me, Carolyn can um, sell the business and the location because
Yeah.
she's licensed here at this location. They don't have zoning laws like they do in the States. You can zone a business and a residence. You could sell food. You could have a
Yeah.
restaurant. You literally could have a restaurant in the middle of a neighborhood. It's bizarre.
Well, they
And they
do.
don't even ask the neighbors or anything like they would normally ask. Zoning laws are tough in the US,
Mhm.
not here. There's no such thing as zoning here, which is
Mhm.
interesting. Anyway, so
Mhm.
back to you
Yeah.
again. Again, keep talking about me. Let's go back to you. So
So yeah, I'm really not a good person to ask about cost money. I mean, we 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 have our my pension and Social Security, and fortunately, I had saved up, a few thousand to for moving, settling in, and that was okay. And but still, in the back of my mind, I'm not putting my feet down 100% because
you're going
her
over budget.
medication and I'm not sure.
They're not covering her medication here, are they?
Oh no, no, no! It's
That's a big problem,
yeah.
and they did
So
cover it in the States.
they did, and
Ooh,
I took a 90-day prescription
I bet you
before we
did.
left.
I bet you
You
did.
know,
I
and the
would
doctor
too.
was very. We said we're going to the Philippines, and we're not sure when we're going to be back. So he was very good about that. And then, so I have to make a decision. Do I go back?
Did
Do
you
I
find the
make
prescription costs here, paying for it out of pocket, were cheaper, or actually you didn't have to pay for it in the States anyway, but did you find the prescription costs here are cheaper, or did you find a different medicine which matches the
that
medication?
is yet to be known,
Okay.
uh, because we just last weekend we just came out of her doctor's office, and he said to me, I'd like to know what her last blood test. I thought that he was going to, I just, because the blood tells everything.
Yeah,
What's in the
right. No,
blood, that
I
tells
just had them
your
done
health.
myself. Yeah.
Okay. And it's not that much, I don't believe, here, having a blood test.
No,
I
no,
don't
a
believe.
couple hundred pesos, very
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah, cheap.
Under 1,000.
And his cost, he was actually he's a medical director. What all that means, I don't know, but I think he's up there. And his cost was only like 600 or so. So they call it consultation, this office visit.
Okay.
So it wasn't that much. And then he has her take these injections
Is
of
that here or in the
yeah,
States?
Holy Child.
Okay, Holy
Yeah,
Child. That's supposed to be a very good hospital, by the
yeah.
way.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um,
What do they charge for the office visit, if you don't
it
mind?
was seemed like either 600 or 700 pesos.
600 usually is the
It
price.
probably was
They
600.
charge Filipinos about 200. Just
Do
what you
they?
know.
No, I didn't know
But
that.
but maybe if you have your wife go in there, maybe. They might have gone up, but when I was in there last year, the Filipino before me, the 2 Filipinos before me, because I was in the room filling out the form,
Yeah.
and I'm listening and watching what they pay. So both Filipinos who saw the doctor before me paid 200, and when I
Oh,
went in there, she charged me 600. I'm going, "Uh-huh, you
uh-huh.
gotta get used to that skin tax."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask my wife about that.
Now they may have gone up from
Yeah,
200 to 600, but, that's normally what I have to pay,
yeah.
600, so
Just so
which
people
is
know, it may around $10 to $11.
which is like under 10 bucks. Well,
Yeah,
it's about
yeah,
10
10,
bucks. It's
about
right
10
at 10
bucks.
bucks, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, he did recommend this hemoglobin injection because I guess the bone marrow produces blood,
Okay,
red blood cells, and she's lacking that or something is not causing her. So she gets these injections, and that was 1,000 pesos, which, hey, $20 or
okay,
so,
that's not too bad.
once a week. So
$18.
if that's fine, you know.
Uh,
So, but the other medications, I think they're thousands of dollars, I think.
dollars or pesos?
Dollars and
No, 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 no. So you need to find a replacement.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah,
I was on lisinopril, which is, blood
uh-huh,
pressure
yeah,
because I have
lisinopril,
hypertension. Lisinopril here is very expensive per pill, okay?
yeah,
And I was taking one in the morning, one at night, and
yeah,
it was about $1.50 a pill, I guess, and I had to pay for it out of pocket, okay?
yeah,
But I found out that there's another pill, now I'm not gonna remember, but I'm not gonna remember the name of it, but there's a Loristan or Loristatin, or no, it's not a statin,
mm,
it's Laura something or other that matches it. I Googled it, matched it, and I asked the doctor about it. And a doctor's visit, typically just a regular doctor's visit, is usually under 500 pesos. So I
yeah,
asked the
yeah,
doctor, but Loristan, I think it's called, and he said, yeah, you can just take 100 milligram Loristan in the morning and 100 milligram and see how that works, and check your blood pressure.
okay,
And it's a penny. It's pesos. It's like 8 pesos
okay,
versus
yeah, yeah,
uh, over like 80, it was over 80 pesos. So it's
yeah,
8 pesos, a tenth of the price. And since I take so many in a month, it adds up.
yes,
So you can find a replacement
I think that's what's gonna happen.
medication, and that's what you should start looking into. You can Google it.
Yeah,
You could, if you get into AI, I don't know if you know what AI.
yeah, I'm familiar
Okay,
with that.
AI is phenomenal.
Yeah,
You could
there were
take
books on
pictures. Yeah, you could take AI is phenomenal. It's better than even
it.
Google now. Even in fact, Google is coming out with AI itself. But if you go onto Chat GPT, or if you go to one of the others, you could take a picture of your medication, ask them what, and but you do have to take a blood pressure. Did you bring with you a blood pressure machine, a blood pressure checker? And
It's in our book.
okay, it's coming.
Coming.
It's forthcoming. You need that. You should have brought that with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
because you need that
Well,
right
yeah,
away.
I know.
How long ago did you ship the ballot bound boxes?
Uh, well, it's been 6 weeks, so we should be getting it any time. I'm saying 6 to 8 weeks. What
It's
are you figuring?
2 months, so maybe another 4 to 6 weeks. At least 2 months
Okay. So
total.
it's
It's
been
been
6
6 weeks,
weeks
so
already.
4 weeks more, maybe
Yeah.
a month. You'll get it in a month.
Yeah.
It takes a little over 2 months typically,
Yeah. That's
but
what
they
I'm
deliver it
thinking.
right to you,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to tip the guys.
So
That's
we got yeah, so many things coming that we're excited about. But the medication is the one thing is kind of a worry to me. But, for my wife's sake, I'll do what I have to do. I
I
told her I'll be
understand
a
if you can
greeter
afford
at
it.
Walmart if I
If you
have
can't
to.
afford it, there's enough people you know that will help you.
Yeah, but
There's lots of
that's
friends here that would help
yeah,
you if you
yeah,
needed it. We help each other here.
yeah. That's
So the expats get together and we help each other. Just
yeah.
like I said, I helped a guy who got into an accident, he didn't have insurance, so he was able to pay me back by motorbikes. Okay, that's fine. But whatever it takes, he took a few months. That's okay.
We'll see. Probably this time next month I'll know what our budget is and her health, her medication. So the doctors, I'm not worried about that at all. I have confidence in the doctors that we know and have known her for, like, say, 12 years before. And they're good people and have good bedside manners, very knowledgeable. It's just that the medication I got to get straightened out.
Yeah. Well, you have 3 months. You have 90 days worth, right?
Mhm.
So you have at least 2 more months.
Yeah,
Start looking into what you could use, or ask the doctor when you go to the doctor. Ask her, check on the prices. Certain pharmacies, different prices.
yeah,
Rose Pharmacy is different than,
yeah.
say, a local quiet.
Yeah.
I use a local one right around Ground Zero, and it's very cheap there,
Oh, really?
cheaper. Rose
Oh,
is very cheap too.
Mercury is where we
Mercury is
kind of
one of
our
the most
default.
expensive.
Oh, that's nice.
Mercury, and there's another one with a W. The name is
Oh.
I can't think of the name of it now. I'll come to. It's not Watson. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Watson.
Watson.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in
Mercury and
Lowell.
Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercury and Watson are one of the high priced ones, and they're very much a stickler on having prescriptions. They're real picky. Okay,
Okay.
they won't vary from. You have to have a prescription for most drugs, and they won't vary. They'll see how many tablets. They won't give you one
Oh,
extra, and they're going to ask you, did you go to another pharmacy and get this filled? Because they know you could,
yeah.
because they don't have everything online that they would like they do in the States.
Yeah.
So, but there are smaller pharmacies, private pharmacies, which I'll tell you about. They'll
Okay.
fill anything without a prescription
Yeah.
once they know you.
Yeah.
You can still get that.
There's a word for I don't know if you've heard the word suki. It means a customer, a loyal customer.
A loyal
So
customer,
you're a
Suki.
suki
I'm a
once you
Suki.
become
I
suki.
introduce other expats to us all the time.
Yeah.
So they'll want something like a pain medicine. You can't get really strong pain medications here, but you
Yeah.
can get tramadol, or Tylenol, or the uh, there's a Tylenol that they get out of China, which isn't called Tylenol. If you get Tylenol, it's 10 pesos a piece. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you get another one, which again, it's
Yeah.
with the letter P. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at it. But paracetamol. If you get paracetamol is Tylenol. If you
Okay.
get paracetamol, it's only 3 pesos each. If you get the brand Tylenol, it's 10 pesos
Brand. I
each.
don't know.
Okay. And they're both 500 milligram or 3 or whatever you get. They're the same amount of milligram. Okay.
No.
So you got to remember that you learn the words here. You learn the,
Acetaminophen, I think, is Tylenol. I mean, is generic.
no, that would
Am
be
I thinking
aspirin.
of something else?
It might be, I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure what acetaminophen, I'm not sure what
Yeah.
Tylenol is. But Tylenol is a name brand. If you buy the name brand,
Right.
it's 10.
Yeah.
If you buy paracetamol, it's the same product, whatever it is. Might be acetaminol. I don't really know. But acetaminophen, I don't remember. But if you get 500 milligrams, same thing for a fraction of the price, 20%. So so look into that, because different pharmacies and different medications are different prices. There's generics. They do have generics here.
I think this video should be a good
It's a lot of information.
beneficial for
Yeah.
for the ones coming, for the ones that are here.
Well, it's just like Band-Aids. Band-Aids aren't called Band-Aids. Okay. They're plaster. I went around to 5 pharmacies to find Band-Aids. And then the fifth one, everybody will say, if they don't know what you mean, they say,
Out of stock, sir.
Yeah. Even if they're not out of stock, they'll say out of stock.
Just go someplace else.
So I go to the pharmacy, well-known pharmacy in the mall, and I said, I need some Band-Aids. And they look at me and they go, I'm sorry, it's out of stock. I says, it's sitting right behind you on the shelf. I can see the word Band-Aid.
Oh,
Yeah, it says Band-Aid on it. But no, they're called plasters. Yeah.
well, I just learned, and I've spoken Tagalog for a long time, but the language is one thing, and then customs and gestures is another thing. I know that the way they have a fork in the left hand and a spoon in the right hand. A
Yes,
few
they
fellows say.
shove it. Yeah.
But so the knife is not really in the picture.
No.
But our neighbor said, "I brought you some spreaders." I go, "Spreaders? It was like a butter knife."
Yeah, that's a spreader.
Spreader.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a new one for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like in the hospital, I asked for a blanket. They bring a sheet. They don't have a word for a blanket.
Oh,
A blanket is a sheet or a sheet. They don't bring a sheet.
yeah.
I'm going, no, I need a blanket. They look at me and they go, you want another? Okay. So they bring another sheet. They don't have blankets. I, I asked them, what do they call it? She says they call them sheets. Doesn't matter whether it's thick or thin.
Yeah.
It's called a sheet. Yeah, it's just the things you learn when you get here. It's interesting.
Hey, just a couple things. I'm gonna have to get going for too long, but
Okay.
I mentioned gestures, right?
Right.
I love gestures because they're communicating without saying anything, right?
Right.
You know, um, and I learned here in the Philippines the part that's most deceiving is that there's a gesture that is like an American gesture. I mean, if it's a completely different gesture, we wouldn't know what
Are
the
you talking
hell that
about
means.
pointing?
No, I'm talking about this.
Oh, okay.
Do you know this?
That
It
would
looks
be,
like
it
okay.
looks like okay.
Money.
That's
It's a
money? I
coin.
said, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
money. He didn't no money.
Well, they do this a lot,
Yeah.
okay? And when I first got here, there was a girl that would do this, okay? And I'm going, "I don't think you mean to wanna do that, okay?" She says, "Well, yeah, it's like peace." I says, "No, this is peace. This is moving towards something that's not peace, okay? Especially if you stick your tongue out, okay?
Yeah.
You don't wanna do it." And I explained to her, she was horrified. She would never hold her fingers up again. But
Oh,
there's things like they point with their nose,
yeah.
or the lips,
Lips. Yeah, it's
right or left lips, they
typical
point with the nose.
Filipino.
Yeah, Filipinos are very different, and
Yeah.
it's interesting, it's fun.
Well, here's one, and I pointed this out. I did some videos, and when they made this gesture, I kind of froze it there so people could see. If someone says something, or you say something, and they don't get what you're saying, they want you to repeat it.
That's it.
Yeah, open
That
your
means like, "What?"
eyebrows up and
That's like,
mouth
"What?"
open. It means what'd you say?
Oh, they don't say
So I
what
go,
or repeat or
no,
anything.
blah 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 blah. That means what'd you say?
Oh, that's like when Carolyn would say yes, she'd say, "Mm."
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
going,
Mm.
"Is that yes or is that no?" "Mm." It's I'm like, "What?" You know, like, I don't understand. And she looked at me, I go, "Mm." And then I started doing it
Yeah,
after a while, like,
it's handy. So you don't have to
is
exert
yes.
any effort.
Yeah, mm.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna sign off. We've been at it
Uh,
for about another 40 minutes. So
okay.
if you hung with us, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
Bud,
everybody.
appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
I'll get this out in the next day or so, and we'll have you back in a month or two and see how you acclimated to
Yeah,
coming back to
yeah.
the new Dumaguete.
You'll have a good idea on my budget too. So
There you go.
that'll be
We'll get some information on that
yeah,
and see how Gloria's doing. Wish you the best. Guys, thank you for staying with us if you
thanks,
stayed this
Goldfinger.
long. Bye bye,
Thanks
everybody.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.